Going into farming was a way of trying to expand my revenue base. I've got a few boutiques in town. I'd been employed before by a tobacco company, but then I left that job 4 years ago, I think, and I'd ventured into the boutique business. I've got a few boutiques that are running in town, but they need to increase my revenue base, because in business, if it is not wise to rely on one source of income, should anything happen in that side of the economy, you then face a slump and your livelihood is threatened. So going into agriculture is the way of increasing revenue. And having come into it, I've also realized that there is a lot of potential that is in agriculture. We're talking of sustainable production, and you're even talking of job creation, wealth creation for the local communities, and the impact that you can have as an individual on such communities that we're working in. So now that is the main reason why we would like to expand this project. So far we only have 1 hectare, but we intend to expand and do the whole 6 hectares of the land that we have here. There have been some curveballs that have been thrown at us, some eventualities that we have had to maneuver around, but like we're saying, it's our first time. So we accept those curveballs because it's a learning period for us. And currently we've learned quite a lot, and as you can see from the crop is staggered. We've got 3 batches of 15,000 each. So the first batch, we have got a lot of learning that we went through, and we have improved on that on the second batch, and we look to perfect on the third batch. And subsequently the batches that will come after that, we are looking at perfecting and getting at least 99% output out of the seedlings that we're putting in. It's a game of numbers when you're talking in business, and specifically horticulture. You need to do the mathematics. When you look at cabbages, let's say worst case scenario, my input costs for starting up the project, I'm looking at less than $1,000 for 1 batch of 15,000 plants. Total production cost, we're looking at less than $1,000. But potential revenue inflows, where let's say the market is bad and I have to sell them at $1 for 4, I still stand to make a substantial amount of money out of that. So it's not that it's an easy road, but it's a much easier to manage route as compared to most of the other business ventures where you have a lot of unknown variables. We don't own this land. We're actually renting. So access to land, yes, it's an issue. But if you can see even the fields that are around us, they're lying idle right now. You come in, you rent, you do improvements, and you produce. A lot of the farmers will produce during the rainy season. They only concentrate on the major grains, maize, and because it's easier to produce those because you're just working with the rainfall. But this requires some investment. You look at the drip pipes that we have, the drip lines, the water tanks, the water pumps, the solar panels to power this whole system. That's a significant investment that you have to put in. But for those that are starting out, you don't have to put in the money at once. You start out with what you can manage. You can start with a 0.5 horsepower pump, fewer panels, single tank. You do a small portion, you grow, you produce, you sell, you go to the next section, and you keep producing like that until you have grown. The main drive for us is we've got a target that we've set for ourselves. We need to produce on this whole entire 6 hectares of land. So currently we're on 1 because our funds are a bit strained. But from the production, or from the first batch, from the proceeds of the second batch and the third, this should give us sufficient capital to expand to the whole 6 hectares. The best thing in any business, especially agribusiness, you start. Biblically, for those that are of the Christian faith, where your heart is, where your treasure is, there your heart is also. Once you put money, we started out with $150 to work this section. We came in, got a tractor to plow the 2 hectares. That cost us $150. Because we had expended cash on it, we couldn't leave it idle. You keep working to get more money, to start putting in, to adding other things, and you build on it. But the important thing is, we started. So you can have a good plan, But as long as you don't start, then there's no guarantee of your success. You're only guaranteed of failure because you haven't started.